Why are Apple products so costly? Apple has always expensive products, but their new phones take it to a whole new level. But are the prices justified? This video goes over some reasons why Apple products may be more expensive than other competitors, whether justified or not. Let's get started. If you've been following iPhones for a while, you may have noticed a trend. Because back in 2012, the brand new iPhone 5 started at $200, while today, the current flagship iPhone starts at $1,000. So what happened in the last few years that made iPhones cost $800 more than they did just 6 years ago? Well, we are going to dig into the numbers now and find out. So for the sake of this video, we are going to be comparing the base model flagship iPhone 5 released back in 2012 and the 64GB iPhone X. I chose last year's model just because it is close enough to this year's iPhone XS, but there is more data on sales, materials, components, and a year's worth of insight on how the phone is manufactured. Apple has almost always had a reputation of pricing their products quite a bit higher than their competition, and this premium cost is commonly referred to as the Apple tax, and it can be traced as far back as the original iPod in 2001, which had a starting price of $399. And when compared to other hard drive-based music players that sold for around $200, the iPod's price was staggering. And when the iPhone was released in 2007, one of its biggest criticisms was its price, coming in at $499, or about $600 today, and that was with a 2-year contract. And don't forget the MacBook Air, which debuted with a $1,800 price tag, and that got you just 64 gigabytes of solid-state storage. So the Apple tax is nothing new to longtime Apple users, but there has been an unusual trend upward in almost all Apple's product categories over the past few years. And I think there is more to that story than the Apple tax can account for. 1. You are paying for things you might not want or need. As others have mentioned, if you buy a MacBook you get an OS with a bunch of free software which has all been developed by Apple. The problem is that this software is not free at all. You pay for it when you pay more for your MacBook than an equivalent Windows PC. Not to mention, there are a number of open source programs that are completely free that you can use on a Windows PC, but in case of Apple you have to pay. 2. You are paying for the quality of the product. Apple fans often talk about the quality of Apple products as the reason they cost more. Obviously, if a company only uses the highest quality components, then the product will cost more, right? Well, I have known many people that have had Apple products over the years and had a number of problems with them. Mainboards failing, DVI ports coming loose, overheating issues, keys coming off the keyboard, etc. That new iPhone X? Sorry, it seems to be the most breakable phone ever. Drop test concludes iPhone X is the most breakable iPhone. In the end, all electronics are fragile and should be treated with care, regardless of brand. If you take care of a laptop, phone, or tablet, it will likely serve you quite well for many years, as long as it was not the bargain basement model. So I feel Apple products are good, but they also require similar care as other brand products. 3. You are paying for the image. Apple has done a very good job marketing their products over the years. They position themselves as the cool brand that all the cool people buy. You know what helps to keep this image? Charging a lot for your products. It creates an exclusivity around your brand because not everyone can afford the prices you charge. It also helps maintain an image of being higher quality for people are locked into the ecosystem and there are no other options. Apple has purposefully kept their ecosystem very closed. You cannot, easily or legally, install Mac OS X on any computer other than a Mac. You cannot get iOS on any other devices besides iPhones, iPods or iPads. This means that once you are in, the price of getting out can be quite high. Have software licenses you bought of OS X? You will likely have to buy new ones for Windows. Bought a bunch of apps for iOS? You'll likely have to buy them again for Android. Also, people hate change, so once they're used to an operating system, they do not want to switch to a new one. Just look at how people react to Microsoft making UI changes to Windows 10. So, people get stuck and their only options are to buy products which have no competitors, since only Apple products have OS X or iOS. This lets Apple charge more and still have people willing to pay it. To sum up, you are paying for a lot of things that might not really have any value to you. Of course, when purchasing any product you should do a value for money analysis. In the end, the Apple product may be a better value for money for you, but that won't be the case for everyone. But it is a matter of choice. Once I have started using Apple product, I could not get put from those.